After seeing Arcane on Netflix being hyped up for years, random clips that went viral on the interweb, and even people I know telling me to watch it, so of course I watched it over the weekend. 12 hours and 19 minutes later,
oh no, this can't be.
I was disappointed. I cover some of the worst animes to ever exist, and yet I was upset that my valuable time is now gone on this show. Time I will never get back. I started to become mad at everything. Everyone that told me it was good, all these video essays that said it's so great. I ripped the Gook poster from my wall, punched a hole through it, sat down, and began writing for 2 whole hours about why Arcane is doo-doo far garbage. And these are the things I'll talk about in order, so feel free to skip around. But all the people that are fans of Arcane, if you're going to hate, leave a dislike and do all that, at least watch till the end of the video to hear everything I have to say. And if you don't, I have a chair for you right there. The show starts with Vi and Powder, who are sisters, pulling a secret Hey, what are y'all doing? Hey, get out my house! Not so secret heist. So obviously everything is going fine until Powder lets the C4 magical crystal which they stole explode. This blows up half the city and makes them wanted criminals. The thing they stole is something called Hextech, which was created by this dude, Jace, and Jace wants to use it to solve everything for rich people. This is horrible since the poors now have their hands on it, so the rich now have to invade the United Kingdom. This leads to fighting and more fighting and eventually leads to someone being dead. Obviously this is the cue for Vi to abandon Powder and start yelling slurs at her. 5 minutes later, Hextech is fully developed for no reason, and suddenly everything changed and we're now 6 years into the future. Powder changed her name to Jinx and Vi is now in prison. There's a random party going on and Jace is at the helm of it, while Victor's acting like some moody emo kid and doesn't want to go on stage for God knows what reason. And boom, explosion. If you didn't catch on, most of that shit happened within 2 episodes. That entire time skip, that entire fight happened within 2 episodes. You see, Arcane has this problem where they show some cool or interesting storyline or something that's magnificent, but they kind of just don't explain none of it at all. You're just kind of supposed to put the pieces together. Like, I got a few questions. Why did Vander betray Silco? What was going on during the time skip, you know, with like Echo in that world that they built that was somehow just not explained how they could build some society like that? Who were those black cloak people that were messing with Mel? And with Mel herself, how did she get her powers? Emberosa and her people, what were they even doing in Piltover to begin with? I don't remember them saying anything about that. The ending leaving more questions than the first episode. I can go on and on about how much things Arcane just didn't talk about or did talk about slightly and just forget about it. None of the technology is like explained at all. What is Hextech? I don't play League of Legends. How am I supposed to just know? I have a life. And when they do talk about it for the 3 seconds, it's always covered up with some dumb emotional scene and then they just get dementia and we're moving to another part of the story. How about the Arcane thing? Something that was hyped up to be a place of the crazy unknown, the source of magic, and something that couldn't be messed with. The writers just forgot. Unless I'm forgetting something, they never talked about it in my head. It might be because Arcane doesn't have good writing, but I'll talk about that later. The story wasn't engaging enough for me, but I kept watching because maybe it picks up and becomes really cool. And it doesn't. Just sit there while some shitty music is playing in your ear. Just rewatch it, Mo. Maybe you don't understand. I would rather fight 5 homeless dwarves than rewatch this entire show. Because 1, it's way too long. 2, it's not really interesting to me anymore. And 3, the show is really hard to rewatch since Arcane moves at a snail-like pace for the first season, only to start flooring it to the max in the second season. It's like if I forcefully grabbed your grandmother, put a turbo engine on her, and let her run. You understand me now, right? The problems in the first season is worse in the second season because the pacing is 10 times faster. So if you thought the story building and the nonsense in season 1 was bad, then season 2 has something in store for you. Like when Jinx was in jail, depressed, due to Caitlyn putting her behind bars even though she helped her, and then Vi comes to save her only to be tricked and told to leave her alone for good. Now, with Vi crying and having a mental breakdown, what do you think she does next? She does something I can't even show in the cell her sister was captured in. The next episode, Jinx sacrificed herself for the greater good, because of course she does. If this is the so-called peak, I don't know, man. I might not be watching the same show. Every episode leaves you more confused than the last, wondering why would the writers do this? And then you get no time to think and you're already behind, so have fun catching up. You want to know why Caitlyn has so much power and control over everyone, even though she's a jit who has never succeeded once in her life? Nah, the plot just gotta keep pushing. You want to know how Mbessa just gets so much say over Piltover? Nah, you can't be questioning our Lord and Savior Arcane like that. They start skipping stuff and making everything a plot convenience in season 2. Also, why is there so many time skips? Are they too lazy to write? This causes Arcane to be a very nonsensical show for me. Also, Arcane put me to sleep because each episode is one of these 3 things: the sisters fighting, dumb political arguments, or a super serious deep scene that happened out of nowhere.
It's the same thing over and over and over. It's like missionary position every single night.
Or something I don't deeply care about. It just feels like the story stops for a bit and does nothing for like 3 to 5 episodes till something huge happens. And that's a problem because nothing really important happens besides like the first 3 episodes and the last. Like, we make as little as progression as possible. And the big payoffs they be trying to give out as rewards are not that interesting to me. How am I not gonna start disassociating? Oh shit, I just dropped a bunch of things. How am I not gonna start disassociating from your series at that point? I'm not trying to pay attention. This is the same show that has no forward movement at all. It's all lateral. Tell me why no one dies in the main cast when they're fighting each other every 2 to 3 episodes. Don't even bring up Victor and Jace because they're not part of the main cast. Why didn't Jinx die? Or Vi? Or Caitlyn? Or Caitlyn? Or Caitlyn? Can someone just take away Caitlyn? But they expect me to be moved when they start killing off the characters in the last 3 episodes when the stakes were virtually non-existent until then. And you want to tell me somehow all these things start happening? Why did this girl just randomly betray the army? The story didn't have like any groundbreaking secrets to me that are so hard to see. I guess that it was a time traveler talking to Jace because it's one of the easiest cop-outs in fictional media. What is there for me? Is it the animation I'm supposed to like so much that I ignore the story? No, I'm not gonna watch some trash he put together. Just like how I'm not gonna ignore the fact that Arcane fans are a bit deranged. They're not mentally stable. They share a same fan base with Has-Been Hotel. I'm already taking your opinion with a grain of salt based off of that. But they're not even close to being the craziest side. The Redditors though, they're crazy.
It wasn't perfect, but far from sucking. I loved it. And just look how hard the team behind Arcane is working. It's disrespectful to say it sucked and had bad writing. Breaking Bad is perfection as well.
Brother, your knees are bleeding, your mouth is dry. What do you mean I can't criticize a show that is worth more than my entire life? $200 million shows can be criticized now. I'm gonna need you to buy 4 things: body wash, deodorant, a toothpaste, and toothbrush. That might be the most Reddit comment I've seen in my entire life. Why did he bring up Breaking Bad randomly? I could care less if someone criticizes me, and I'm damn sure they don't give a absolute fuck if someone criticizes them. They're French. I'm not sure they will even see this video. Someone compared Arcane to Community Season 3, One Punch Man Season 1, and Frieren Season 1. And I never wanted to virtually choke out someone until now. OPM disregards everything known to a functional story to create one of the best overpowered characters seen in anime. Community was all about a comedy show and had so many classic episodes while the character development was coming to a close. And Frieren, I don't watch that sissy shit, alright? Arcane is fucking boring compared to the rest of these shows. And there's like tons of examples of Arcane fans being absolutely insane. And I kind of would expect that from a fan base of League of Legends players and has-been hotel fans. If you saw a serious show who had a MC that was indecisive and incredibly dumb, you would hate it. Just imagine Will Ferrell as the Punisher. Why is it in Arcane I'm supposed to like Vi for being a dumbass with 100-pound rocks in her brain and acting like a wet cloth because of the drama? It's stupid, and I don't like it. Am I supposed to look the other way as if Caitlyn isn't the most insufferable character on the entire show because her mommy died? No, the writers had the choice of making these characters who they are. Due to the source material being a literal kids game, I am not touching. The fans say this show is very realistic. What 20-year-old acts like a toddler and got Kirito syndrome? I'll wait. Tell me right now. If you could find someone like that in real life, then sure, I'll give you that as a check mark. And if Caitlyn's grief felt even slightly real, maybe I would have shed a single tear. Which I didn't. People say that the characters are also well developed. Characters like Jace have a big chest, have a big promise about who they're supposed to be. What does he even do for the story? He just sits there and looks pretty and starts caressing Mel. Now, I understand the second part, but the first part is pissing me off because why can't he solve this by himself? I mean, he's the dude that created Hextech, right? And if he was really smart, maybe he should have put a barrier up with Hextech. And then everybody would have been safe from the evil poor people. Why did Victor become Hitler Jr. and start mind-washing people out of nowhere? And the only reason the show gives for that is because he's dealing with some conflict and he killed his girlfriend. No. With Mel, what does she even do? Her and Jace are a match made in hell. Real talk, who the fuck is this? With Vander, my opinion on him is more, I mean, I guess he's alright, but his entire character is a plot point, so I would like put him in Uncle Ben kind of, I don't give a fuck. And with Caitlyn and Vi, with Caitlyn especially, I might pop a blood vessel talking about them. My blood pressure might reach like 150. So all I'll say about them is, if I ever become like one of those two idiots, please just take me out and shoot me in the back of the head. These characters are way too underdeveloped for how complex the show is trying to be. So if someone died, which did happen, I just didn't give two shits about what happened. If the characters meant something to me, then maybe I would have cared. But with how poorly written every single character is, besides, two, and the rest having static development, being one-dimensional, and lacking any real motives, I just don't. The plot armor is also downright unbelievable. Huh? It's your turn now, pink hair. If Vi wasn't written as someone who never made a single decision throughout the entire show and claimed to care about her sister so much, yet abandoned her at every turn, then I wouldn't dislike her as much as I do. Vi, I have a challenge for you. Be useful for more than 5 minutes. That one counselor scene sent goosebumps down my back as I cringed in fear. These brain-dead idiots that just wanted to eliminate these poor people are suddenly moved by words of someone that's from the same area because she said it loudly and is the main character. And you, Jace, she packed up your room, got you arrested, and nearly got you killed. Why are you acting so buddy-buddy with her? Get out of here with that. And my main problem with Arcane is one thing. The characters are far too confusing. Nobody's actions make sense besides Jinx, because each character takes the worst possible route to go to every single destination. The ending is just trash, and I will not elaborate on that.
Gary, why do you hate Arcane so much?
Arcane is some woke, DEI, hussy, disgusting propaganda meant to infiltrate the youth with its gayness, meant to infiltrate the youth with its blackness, meant to infiltrate our minds with their propaganda. At the end of the day, Arcane is a masterpiece in other areas. The animation is genuinely some of the coolest thing I've seen in a minute. You can see and feel the $200 million budget. The music was also a blast to listen to. Besides that British and French one, we could just not do with those, you know what I mean? Turn that off instantly. I thought 3 out of the last 4 episodes were really great, especially episode 7 and that whole episode about Echo and Powder. So that was really a +1 with the story, and I might have cried when that little dude died. What am I trying to say? Well, just because other people like something doesn't mean you need to hide your opinions. I didn't enjoy Arcane. I think Arcane is a 6 out of 10. 2 out of 10 story-wise, but 10 out of 10 art. Hold on, I have something to tell y'all. Y'all don't need to agree with me, but what you can do is help me out by going to my community tab or Google form in the bottom if I really want to do it. And y'all will just have to give me some animes from the year of 2010. It doesn't matter if they're good nor bad. You could troll me, I don't care. Love y'all.